So I will give a brief but very comprehensive introduction on the speaker today, Dr. Gayani Yashodhara Liyanage. She is a senior lecturer in the Department of Aquatic Bioresources, Faculty of Urban and Aquatic Bioresources at the University of Sri Jayewardenepura, Sri Lanka. She holds a PhD in zoology with research focused on antibiotic resistance bacteria in aquaculture, poultry farms, and hospital effluents. She earned her BSc special degree in aquatic science with first class honors from the same university, University of Sri Jayewardenepura, with over a decade of academic and research experience. Dr. Gayani Liyanage has participated in numerous national and international research collaborations related to the water quality, microbial contamination, antibiotic resistance, and aquatic ecosystem health. She is a life member of several professional bodies, and Dr. Liyanage has also contributed to innovation through a patent for a domestic water filter using natural materials. She has published over 25 SCI index papers and contributed to more than 50 abstract publications and many book chapters. So in addition to her research, she serves on various academic and ethical committees and supervises postgraduate research in environmental microbiology, antibiotic resistance, and aquatic pollution. Her work continues to make significant contribution to public health and environmental sustainability in Sri Lanka. So it's pleasure to have you here for this webinar, Ms. Yashodhara Liyanage, and over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Purna, for introducing me. So today we are going to talk about the very hot topic. At the end of the presentation, we open for the discussion a little bit. Because as you know, the antibiotic resistance is the one of the top 3 health problems according to the World Health Organization. So today we will discuss why is that, what are the reasons to create the antibiotic resistance, and how that lead to the health problems and the Sri Lankan scenario. Okay, first we will see what is the antibiotic. I think already you know. But according to the World Health Organization, that is a substance that destroys or inhibits the growth of pathogenic bacteria and used to treat external and internal infections. All of you know that means in here there are academics and the researchers and also the students. So all of you know we are taking the antibiotics for some bacterial infections. Sometimes that antibiotics are not completely destroyed. There are some control in the growth of the bacteria. That is the depend on the type of the antibiotics. So mainly we are taking the antibiotics, not only us, we are giving the antibiotics for some pets and also in the aquaculture and also in the agricultural sector. So also we are not using antibiotic as only a medicine. We are using some as a growth hormones. So this is the antibiotic and those are the purposes. But today, antibiotic 50, the 10 million deaths can be happen due to the antimicrobial resistance. So now we will see what is the resistance. Resistance means we are taking some drug, but if that drug is not working against that antibiotic, that is we can call it as a antibiotic resistance. So why that antibiotics going for the resistance? If I ask a question from you, I think all of you are not taking the antibiotics until completing the antibiotic cause? I think I'm correct, because when we are feeling better, we are not drinking that antibiotics further, because we are thinking now it's okay like that. Then what happened to that remaining antibiotics? You are discarding to the environment. Not only like that, sometimes to the cold like that, no need antibiotics. But we are thinking if we take the antibiotics, then it's become a cure. But that's not truth, because that antibiotics are not working against that diseases. I'm not a doctor, but that's the reality. So, the reason is misuse and the overuse of the antibiotics put us all at the risk. Not only that people that discarding antibiotics, not that completing antibiotic dose, everything put all at the risk. Not that only people. Because if that resistance develop, that antibiotics are not working further. If that antibiotics are not working further, then what we can take for the bacterial diseases? Do we have any solution? There are some solutions in new, but that is not working like the antibiotics, because new technology go for the some bacteriophages like that, but that treatments are not efficient like that. Also, when the antibiotics are not working, we have to stay very long time in the hospitals, because that particular antibiotic is not working. So doctors are trying different type of the antibiotics. If not, they are going for the other treatment. If there's a bacterial diseases, rather than the antibiotics, there's a no more effective way to cure that diseases. So finally, what happened? If there's some death or some long-term, some things happen. So also higher medical cost, because if that antibiotics are working for us, we can get the cure within very short period. But if that antibiotics are not working, mean we have to wait lot of time. Also, the drinking antibiotics are not working properly, then we have to go for the other method. That methods are high cost than the drinking antibiotics. Those are the things we are taking the risk if we are not using the antibiotics properly. Okay. To develop the resistance, that antibiotics should be go to the environment. So mainly via the livestock treatment, treatment of companion animals, also inappropriate disposal, via the aquaculture treatment, human therapy, and also as a result of the manufacturing. Some antibiotic residues can be go to the outside. Outside mean what? Finally, that everything is end up in the soil or the water. That means in the environment. Then that antibiotic residues lead for the antibiotic resistance. That means when we are, that is also general for the everything. If we are exposed lot of things to the more duration, then what happen? We are adapt for that. Like that, similar thing for the bacteria also. If the bacteria exposed into the antibiotic dose, they all become resistant for the particular antibiotics. But every time, antibiotic resistance is not occurring as a result of the human. Some antibiotic resistance bacteria are natural. That means they are naturally resistant for the some antibiotics. But other method is when we are exposed into the antibiotics residues longer time, that bacteria change, they modify some things. Later we will discuss how they are modify their cells. They are modified that cells, and then they are become resistant. That can be happen as a two types, chromosomal mutations and the extra chromosomal mutations. Okay. Now we will see what are the major antibiotic resistant mechanisms? Mechanisms mean they are showing these things and become the resistant for the particular antibiotic. First one is the alteration of target site of the antibiotic. That means antibiotics are trying to target for this cell, but if there's a change in that cell, that antibiotic couldn't attack for that cell. Then that antibiotic is not working for this cell, because assume assume this cell is a pathogenic bacterial cell. So if that antibiotic working properly, need to break this cell. But if there's a target alterations, then that antibiotic is not properly work against these cells. Then that cells are not destroying. The second one is enzymatic inactivation. That means enzymatic inactivation means okay, like this. Because there's some enzymes, this antibiotic is try to attack for that cell, but at that time, enzyme come and inactivate that antibiotic. That is we called as a enzymatic inactivation. Also, in the some cells, that antibiotic should be entered the cell to damage this pathogenic cell. But if there's a reduction of the inner and outer membrane permeability, then that antibiotic couldn't enter to the cell. Then what happened? That pathogenic bacteria is still survive. The fourth one is the flush out of the drug. That is we called as a efflux pump. That means when antibiotic try to enter to the cell, but there's a mechanism to remove that antibiotic from the cell. Then again, that bacteria is still survive. Also, they are using the alternative metabolic pathway. Because of those things, that antibiotic is, that bacteria is still survive, because they are finding the ways to destroy the particular antibiotic. Okay. Now we will see what is the antibiotic resistant genes and how that can be transferred to the other bacteria. Because in our gene cluster, if there's some change, modifications happen, then that creates as a resistance. Mainly, that genes can be transferred from one bacteria to other bacteria via two mechanisms. First one is the horizontal gene transfer, and other one is the vertical gene transfer. In the vertical gene transfer is common, that means mother to daughter. That can be transferred via from one bacteria to the other bacteria. The horizontal gene transfer is little bit important because sometimes that particular area never exposed for the antibiotic resistance. But we can detect some resistant genes. How can that happen? Because that genes can be come from the another area. What are the ways? If you think some bird put the fecal matter, in that fecal matter contain the antibiotic resistant bacteria. So on that fecal matter, some another bird come and sit. At that time, that fecal matters are touching his leg. Then when that bird go to the another place and again walk, then that attached bacterial cells can be remain on the floor. So with that bacterial cells, that resistance can be transferred. So one bacteria came from the one location to other location, and that resistant genes can be spread in that environmental bacteria. That is the way how happen the horizontal gene transfer. Okay, now we will see how that antibiotic resistance can be spread in our body. Okay, this is the way. Assume this is the pollution source. That means antibiotic residues releasing from this pollution source. That can be an industry, that can be a hospital, or even a sewage. So that antibiotic residues released from this wastewater. Then the environmental bacteria around that are exposed to that antibiotic residues. After the long-term exposure or the high-dose exposure, that environmental bacteria become resistant for the particular antibiotics. In here, the blue color indicating the susceptible bacteria, the red color indicating the resistant bacteria, and this one indicating the pathogenic bacteria. Then here you can see there's some resistant bacteria and the susceptible bacteria also. Then what can be happen? This resistant bacteria's genes can be transferred to this susceptible bacteria. At this stage, you can see there's some pathogenic bacteria in the environment, but still they are not resist. But after this one, you can see there's some resistant bacteria developed than this. Also, in here, the pathogenic bacteria also become the resistant bacteria. Then if we drink that water, if we are touching that water, or if we are swimming, like that, different ways that can be entered to our body. Then our body bacteria inside our microbiome, that means human microbiome, become the resistant for some other antibiotics. Because at this stage, there are no more resistant bacteria, but after the exposure of that resistant bacteria, more our microbes become the resistant. Then what is the result? We are drinking the antibiotics for some diseases, but not get any cure from that antibiotic. Also, I think you know, the most of the bacteria and the antibiotics, that means we are drinking some antibiotics, but more than 50% again released to the environment with the urine or the fecal matters. So with that things, antibiotic residues released to the environment, as well as the resistant bacteria again released to the environment as a result of the metabolic pathways. So this is the circular like that. If the resistant bacteria develop very little period, it can spread in the environment. Previously, we discussed how happen in the human. This is also similar. While from the animals, same thing happened. Previously, antibiotics killed the most of bacteria, but after develop the resistance, they are the survival one. So from the antibiotics, anyone can't destroy this resistant bacteria. Then we will see how that resistant bacteria can be spread via the animal products. Because we did some research on the fish and some meat products like that. In the fish, sometimes the gut antibiotic resistant, and we are cut sometime in our home. So that resistant bacteria spread on our plates, our kitchen, like that. Like that way, that via the animal products can transfer that resistant bacteria to the environment, and that resistant bacteria can come to our home. Also, via the contaminated water. If we use the antibiotic-resistant bacteria contaminated water, it can be a reason to spread the resistance. Also, prepared food through the contaminated surface. If we are cutting our food on the same surface which we cut that fish, then what happens? That food can be contaminated via that antibiotic resistance bacteria. Other one is the animal and human waste. The main thing is for the compost making. Sometimes we are using the manure. That manure contains the resistant bacteria, but we are not aware about that. So we are putting that compost for the everywhere. Later I will discuss with the stat. That means we already did some research related to the compost. So I will show you how that manure and the compost and the fish how involved in for the spread of the resistance bacteria. Okay. Then after export, the contaminated food we are eating, contaminated environment we are waiting, like that. Finally, what happened? If we get the some diseases that is not treatable, so finally that can be lead to the even for the death. That is the final thing happen due to the antibiotic resistance. So the we have to find some solution. Main thing is we have to make a way to avoid the antibiotic contaminations. So there's a clinical data, there are a lot, but um, so I like to say, I'm happily say the first study in Sri Lanka, that means we are the pioneers of the screening antibiotic resistance in the aquatic environment samples. So I would like to remind Professor Patmalal Mane. So he's and our team screened a lot of places of Sri Lanka to determine the antibiotic contaminations, antibiotic resistance from the 2014. So we did lot things. I would like to show some stat, because based on the stat, we can tell what is the state in Sri Lankan environment. So then you can decide, are you drinking the antibiotic full course, or you are discarding some things to the environment. So we did the sampling locations. That means we have covered the hospitals, fish farms, animal farms, rivers, cotton plains, and the marine environment. So in here you can see the stat for the hospitals. So mainly amoxicillin, cloxacillin, ciprofloxacillin. I think those antibiotics are very familiar with you. Uh, if you thoroughly studied, you can see nowadays most of the diseases are not cured from the amoxicillin. Why? Because amoxicillin is now resist for the lot of bacteria. In the Sri Lanka, still we are using the amoxicillin, but most of the countries nowadays not using amoxicillin, because they know there's a no, we can't cure any diseases with the amoxicillin. In the some hospitals contain the treatment plants, because they are telling we are releasing our effluent water after treating. But we did some analysis for the treatment plants, but only up to the 40% antibiotics. That means some antibiotics up to 50% only can remove from that treatment plants. Then what happened to other 50%? It's going to the environment, because that conventional treatments, that means the all treatment plants are not matching to remove the antibiotic residues from that effluent water. So we have to apply the new techniques, novel technology to remove the antibiotics from the that hospital effluents. Also, if we compare the hospitals, aquaculture, and the livestock with the antibiotic concentration and the antibiotic resistance bacteria, you can see in the aquaculture farms, there's a highly detect the oxytetracycline. If you're aware, in the aquaculture farms, we are highly using the tetracycline as an antibiotic. Some farmers are not only used to cure diseases, some are thinking if we use the tetracycline once a week or twice a week, then not any diseases come to that environment. So because of that, without any doses, without any regulations, they are putting the antibiotics to that water. Because of that, this threat occurred. You can see lot of resistant bacteria detect in that environment. Also, when we compare the hospitals, you can see not oxytetracycline and tetracycline, mostly used amoxicillin, ampicillin, cloxacillin, ciprofloxacillin. Those are the common antibiotic residues detect in the hospital effluents. Similar to the antibiotic residue concentration, also detect the resistance. Resistance means now that antibiotics are not working against some diseases. Also, co-amoxiclav, common name is, I think, as a augmentin. Nowadays, there's a less number of bacteria record against the augmentin, but with the time, in near future, more resistant bacteria can be detected against the co-amoxiclav, that means augmentin. That is the situation in Sri Lanka. Also, here some academics and also researchers and the students. I think you are aware about the minimum inhibition concentration. That means the concentration what need to destroy that bacteria. That is we called as a MIC. So when we consider about the MIC of the some bacteria, most of the resistant bacteria should exceed the 300 ppm. But according to the World Health Organization, they are telling that should be less than the 300 ppm if that antibiotic is working. Because sometimes we are taking the 625 milligram per that dose and the 500 milligram, 250, like that. But the recommended 7 days, 3 days, like that, that is depend on the type of the antibiotic. When we are taking the 625, that 625 not contain the only antibiotic. Sometimes there's some other compounds. Also, that 625 not absorbed to the our body. That is more than less to the 60%. That means other 40% or other 50% again released to the environment. So according to the World Health Organization, they are telling at the end of the series that MIC should be less than 300 ppm. But according to results, you can see most of the bacteria showed more than 300 ppm. That means to kill that bacteria, we have to get high dose. But according to toxicological analysis, if we are getting the high dose of the particular antibiotics, that is not good for our functions. We detect also some resistant genes. Here also you can see similar to the resistance, also aquaculture farms and the livestock farm detect high amount of the tetracycline resistant genes because there's a high amount of the tetracycline resistant bacteria. In the hospitals, the most common antibiotics, amoxicillin, cloxacillin, like that, those things coming under the penicillin group. So all of you know aware about I think penicillin antibiotics. So in the hospitals, most of the locations positive for the penicillin resistant genes. Also, when we talk about the antibiotic resistance, multiple antibiotic resistance against important thing. Multiple antibiotic resistance. That means some bacteria can be cause for the resistance for the more than 2 antibiotics. That is we called as multiple antibiotic resistance. Some pathogenic bacteria, as example, Pseudomonas, Staphylococcus, not only cause for the one disease. So, if that Staphylococcus or that Pseudomonas or that E. coli become resistant for the more antibiotics, then what happened? For the more diseases, there's no any cure. Then here you can see those are some identified antibiotics resistant bacteria. So they are showed the high multiple antibiotic resistant index. Sometimes the number of bacteria is low, but they are show the high resistance. If there's a high antibiotic resistant index mean the antibiotic efficiency is very low. This is the scenario in Sri Lanka. Also, other important and interesting, Horton Plains, that is situated 2,100 meters above from the sea level. Also, that is a World Heritage Site. Also, maybe there's no any pollution sources. But we detect some resistant bacteria. What is the reason? That can be happen as a result of the horizontal gene transfer. So sometimes the pollution sources are no, any contaminations are no, but resistant bacteria can be detected. So if that residue is exposed to the one environment, it will create the huge threat for the everywhere. This is related to some effluent water. Okay, now we will see our major drinking source, that means water for the Colombo district, more than 80% depend on the Kalani River. But this is the scenario of the Kalani River. The transitional zone is high risk area against the different antibiotics. In here you can see the red color area is indicating the high resistance for the antibiotics. This data based on the some research in Center for Water Quality and Algae Research. So we are finding what are the sources for that resistance, but this map is clear in the dry and wet season. Both seasons detect high resistance bacteria. These are the some detect for the resistance percentage in the groundwater, surface water, even in the groundwater, there's a high level of resistance detect. How? Because if there's a wet surface water contaminations, that bacteria can be go to the groundwater, and finally it's become resistant for the different antibiotics. So you can see we are in the very dangerous situation because our surface water as well as the groundwater all are contaminated with the resistant bacteria. Other point is sometimes we are not detecting the antibiotic residues, but we are detecting the resistance. Sometimes that residues can be very low amount, or sometimes that residues may be exposed before some period, now not, but that developed resistant bacteria are there. Our health issues are created by that resistant bacteria. So we have to think twice before put that antibiotic to the environment. If we are do some survey of your lockers, if your cupboards, definitely we can find some antibiotics. That is the scenario in Sri Lanka. So please don't do that because near future, there's no any antibiotics to cure our bacterial diseases. So please think about that. Okay. This is the total, when we talk about the compost, because I talked previously also, compost is become a source for the transfer the resistance. This is the some composting sites and there's some commercial compost. The blue color indicating the resistant bacteria. Where you can see there's also detect some resistant bacteria. Also, there are multiple antibiotic resistance. They are show high values. Also, we detect some resistant genes. These are the isolated bacteria. They contain the different antibiotic resistant genes. So that genes can be transferred to the other environmental pathogenic bacteria to become resistant. Those are the some identified bacteria. Some Acromacter, Staphylococcus, Klebsiella, Bacillus that also can be caused to the different diseases. So if those bacteria become resistant, then we are drinking the antibiotics but not working. When we talk about the human side, who is the major responsible one? Doctors. Because some doctors are thinking if we give the high antibiotics, that means best working antibiotic, that patient is happy because they are drinking and cure that diseases very few days and now happy. But then they are creating a problem because that patient is practiced for that antibiotic. Then finally, if they adapt for that antibiotic, then if there's a get the severe diseases, no any antibiotic to give. That's the scenario. So antimicrobials are overprescribed and available without the prescription. In our pharmacies, sometime for the not all pharmacies, but most of the pharmacies, if we go and ask about the antibiotics, they are giving. They are not checking the prescription. But the countries like Australia, America, they are not giving antibiotics like that. That because of that, there's some control of going that antibiotics to the environment. But in Sri Lanka, most of the time, they are giving antibiotics. So the most thing is before we are recommending, you have to use this antibiotic like that. There should be some analysis. Then you can say it will take more time. Then at that time our diseases how cure like that. But with the technology, within the very short period, we can determine who is the microbe, what is the responsible bacteria for that diseases. If there's no any bacteria is a reason for that diseases, no need antibiotics. So at that time, if we are getting the antibiotic mean, our body is exposed to the antibiotic just like that. So the physicians are the treat infections, but there's a duty of the microbiologist. They need to check that bacteria, what is the bacteria cause for that, and that bacteria is sensitive for that antibiotic or not. If we have idea about that, then we can easily manage this environment because then we can tell this antibiotic is good. It can kill this bacteria like that. So now we have to think, are we safe? Because at present, most of the antibiotics lose their effectiveness. A regulatory framework at the national level is needed because if you know there's no any strict regulations or rule for the antibiotics. Any guideline, there's no any guideline for the antibiotics residues. In the aquaculture sector, there's some recommending dose, this amount we should put to this amount of the liter. But farmers are not doing that. But if there's a strict regulations, then they will do that. Also, we need to check the effluent discharges releasing from the hospitals, manufacturing process, like that. Also, before use the manure, we have to double think. If we can get the manure, we can get the good plant, but with the plant, antibiotic resistance can be transferred. So rather than get a good plant, we are exposing to the another big problem. So you can take home some message because if there's no any bacterial diseases, please don't take the antibiotic. I'm not a doctor, but with my experience related to the antibiotic, I can tell because some diseases are not curing from the antibiotics. So please don't use antibiotics if that is not a bacterial diseases. Treat infection, not contamination. Treat infection, not colonization. If you get some antibiotics, please use that antibiotics until that course finish. In the halfway, don't discard that antibiotics to the environment. Also, that is not good for you because you are taking the few of the antibiotics and you are controlling the growth of that pathogenic bacteria. When you are stopping take antibiotic, that bacteria can be again act. That goes, sometimes you not completely destroy that particular antibiotic. Also know when to say no to vancomycin, carbapenems, and cephalosporin. Because if any doctor telling you have to take the augmentin, you have to take the coamoxiclav, you should tell, doctor, can I take the low antibiotic than that? Because nowadays, that is a very strong antibiotic. If you take that for the cold or any little antibacterial diseases, when you get the uh, severe one, there are no any antibiotics. Also, break the chain of contagion. Keep your hands clean. Every time, think about the clean surfaces and clean environment. So start simple bedside test, gram staining, microscopy, like that. Because if you are doctor, if you are relation to doctor, please tell this message to them. Because in the near future, there's a big, huge threat. According to now also, World Health Organization tell there are more than uh, 80 million, 8 million deaths are happen due to the antibiotic resistance. So more than the HIV like that, and due to the antibiotic resistance, more death happening. We have a lot of clinical tests, but we need to consider about the environmental contaminations as well, because environmental is the pathway transfer that resistance from one location to other location. Okay, this is the scenario in Sri Lanka. You can understand not only the other countries. In Sri Lanka also, there is a big, huge threat due to this antibiotic resistance. So one responsible persons are you and me. So we have to think we should not discard any antibiotic resistance bacteria, or we are not discarding any antibiotic residues to the environment. So if we take action, then we can get some cure, we can get some hope for the antibiotic resistance, minimizing the antibiotic resistance in tomorrow. But if there are no action today, then no cure tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. I think you get already some informations related to the antibiotic resistance. I go with my data because I think that's important. From that, you can get idea about the Sri Lankan scenario and now what is the stage in Sri Lankan environment like that. Uh, we have to, first thing is we have to stop the antibiotic contaminations. Okay, now if you have questions or any ideas, I like to share and I like to give some answers for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ashodhara. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, Dr. Purna.
Okay, so now the floor is open for questions. The audience can forward their question directly or through the chat box. Okay, there's a long question, Dr. Ashodhara. First question.
Yes.
You said that antibiotics are used as a growth hormone. I'm not sure that is correct. I'm not aware of any antibiotics that works as growth hormones. In the past, antibiotics were used as growth promoters to improve weight gain and feed efficiency. However, they are not the same as growth hormones. Antibiotics work by controlling certain bacteria in the gut, which can improve nutrient absorption, but they do not act like hormones. Today, the use of antibiotics for growth promotion is banned in many countries, including Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka banned AGPs in 2017. Diagnosis is not an easy task for physicians or veterinarians, especially in low resource settings, where cost is also a major barrier. Therefore, antimicrobial resistance is not caused only by prescribers, it is a multifactorial issue. Policymakers also share responsibility as they are the ones responsible for improving healthcare infrastructure and support system. So,
Yes, thank you, Dr. Purna. Yes, that is not as a growth hormone, that is a growth promoter. But they are banned in Sri Lanka, but we know still they are using as a growth promoter. Because we are did many research with the farmers, still they are using in some farms under the controlling of the NACDA, and some agricultural farms in the poultry farms like that. Still some are using that antibiotics. That is the problem. There's no any strict rules and regulations in Sri Lanka. They are banned like that, but still some are using. Also, the physicians and veterinarians are not only the controlling persons, because sometimes physicians giving drug, you should drink this drug until 7 days. But our people, we are not drinking that. After we are getting little bit cure, then we are discarding that antibiotics. Not only the, yes, I agree with the uh, you, that means not only the physicians or veterinarians, the responsible in our people. Also, my recommendation is there should be a strict regulations. There should be a guidelines. In Sri Lanka, there are some guidelines for the aquaculture farms, also like that. That means, as example, we are recommending oxytetracycline this dose for the 20 liters. But some farmers are continuously putting the antibiotics, especially in the ornamental fish farms, to keep that fish well. So that is the our people work. So they should be know what is the disadvantage, what as a result of their work, our country going to the which conditions. So my thing is we have enough data. We also making some discussions with some health sectors. So we need to think about there should be a strict regulations.
okay, Dr. Yashodhara. So, so far, no other questions in the chat box. Is there any other question from the audience? Till then, shall I ask a general question? Somehow, if we have any remaining set of antibiotics or any, for some reason, maybe due to changing of the antibiotic or some reason, if we have any remaining antibiotics, what is the best way of discarding them?
Yes, Dr. Purna, still in Sri Lanka, there's a no proper way. In some other countries, they are telling you can discard in these antibiotics to these bins like that. Then they are properly discard that things without enter into the environment. But in Sri Lanka, there's still no any proper way how we need to discard the antibiotics. So that's the problem. Sometimes we can't do anything, but there should be something developed should be in this country.
Yes. So how about the policy infrastructure? So is there any, I mean, is it strong enough to control the situation? No, you think that according to your experience, you think that still we have to have some more strong legal and other infrastructural I mean, like banning or something. Any other ways of doing this to control this situation?
The main thing is sometimes that there's a WHO put some guidelines even for Sri Lanka, the discussions, and then there's some guidelines, but it's not become the active. That means people are not aware about that. If there's some, as example, if there's a wastewater release without in the guideline, there's some punishment for them. Like that, if there's some strict rules, we can control. Also, there should be limitations of the using antibiotics. In Australia and some countries like Russia, they are not giving antibiotics. without any prescriptions, and they are telling you try to cure. If not, we will give antibiotic like that. Only 2 or 1 antibiotics they are given without prescription, because some itching or some other problems occur. They can't go to the physicians, and until they are prescribed the antibiotics, they can't wait. So the common 2 or 3 antibiotics they are allowed without the prescription. But in Sri Lanka, most of the pharmacies, they are giving the antibiotics without the prescription.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions from the audience? Okay, it seems like there's no any other questions. So I would like to thank Dr. Yashodhara Aliyanage for her experience she shared today, for spending time and her energy to have this very timely and very fruitful webinar. And I would like to thank Dr. Yashodhara Aliyanage very much. And I also would like to thank Ms. Thirini from NASTEC for giving all the support to organize this webinar, and all the committee members in the YSF NASTEC committee. I would like to thank all the participants who joined today for this webinar, and we hope the final message of this webinar will spread from you to the country and to the world. Thank you, everyone, and have a good day.
Thank you, Dr. Purna, for inviting me. Thank you very much, and the YSF also.